Welcome to the family with
Officer Dave
and Andy Barnard.
And Josh Arnold should be here within the hour. Somewhere in there. We don't know.
He'll be around.
We don't know when, but it'll be around. There's no. Yeah, we were running through a bunch of movies. This Terrifier 3 that's out in theaters apparently is so incredibly terrifying. People can't watch it.
Oh, really?
I guess it gets really over the top.
Terrifier 3, huh?
Yeah, Terrifier 3. What do you got, Andy? Got the big descriptor for you?
It's a clown killing people on Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's very scary.
So that's all it says?
I mean, after being decapitated by Sienna Shaw on Halloween night, Art the Clown's headless body. It's like,
So
it says a lot. It says a lot.
Body now?
I'm guessing he puts his head back on at some point, you know.
You would think.
You got to see somehow.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely true. Yeah, so Terrifier 3, apparently people they won't go to see it. So I guess some people have lasted like 2 minutes and they get up and leave.
Really?
Yeah, I guess it's really over the top.
Never been my thing either, but
it's not your genre.
Not my genre. No.
It is mine because one of the greatest moments of my life was going to the Empress, Broadway, or Paradise Theater to see a movie in North Minneapolis. Don't go in there, girl. They're talking to the screen the whole time. It was just unbelievable.
Oh man!
And then I made a mistake. I wore my basketball, my warm-up jacket that said my name on the back of it. So the entire movie at the Empress Theater, Barnard. They kept saying my name over and over. He's like, okay. I get it. No question. Okay, I want to run a couple of things by you guys to see if we can answer these questions. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, first of all, I want to run this one. Hurricane nonsense. There have been 2 hurricanes in the last, 3 weeks total? Yep. Nonsense? This is going to be interesting. Hurricane Milton nailed the Florida coast as a Category 3 Wednesday night, less than 2 weeks after Helene tore through. The good news is it could have been worse, but still it caused widespread flooding, tornadoes, and left millions without power. Some of the news surrounding Milton, a few serious stories and some not so serious. Tropicana Field's roof got shredded. Yeah, I heard about that.
I heard about that too.
Yeah, tore it right off.
Man, it's where the Tampa Bay Rays play, but won't affect any games since they didn't make the playoffs. The Tampa Bay Rays didn't make the playoffs?
No, they were about 1 game better than the Twins, I think, this year.
That was it. Oh, yeah, they were pretty bad. You're right thinking about that. They didn't make the playoffs. Sorry to pile on Tampa. It was supposed to be a hurricane relief hub with cots on the field and all that stuff, but those plans got scrapped because they were worried the roof wouldn't hold, and they were right. What if they had put up all those people in that place?
That'd be like the Superdome deal.
Yeah.
Yep. For Katrina.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't good.
Oh, this is too bad because I like this guy, actually. Anderson Cooper was on the ground in Bradenton, Florida, and got hit by debris during a segment. He's okay, though. And we've had Anderson on. Anderson doesn't have a lot of emotion.
He is kind of flat, isn't he?
He really is, but he's a very nice guy. Really decent person. A bunch of people kept their sense of humor while boarding up windows. They referenced a character, Milton, from Office Space and sprayed notes like, Milton,
you have my stapler?
We don't have your stapler. That's what it says, Andy. Very good. Good call. Milton, we don't have your stapler.
That's the guy that looks like Sandy.
Yeah, he kind of does, actually.
Sandy.
Yep.
And I love it. A guy in Tampa strapped his entire house down, hoping to keep his roof from flying off, and it worked. It did work, though.
But it looks so goofy because he's got these straps going out to the stakes in the yard.
Yeah.
It's just like
got these 90-foot straps.
Best comment. We got to know if he pulled on the straps and said, these ain't going nowhere. That's very good. I like that.
That's a typical guy thing to say once you strap anything down.
That is very
That
true.
ain't going nowhere.
The BBC's weather app had a poorly timed glitch with a hurricane force wind alert popping up for cities all over the world. It said the estimated wind speed in London was more than 13,000 miles an hour.
Whoa. That would be a typo.
I would shear the crust right off the earth. 13,000 miles an hour. Let's see. What Mach is that?
Oh, it's got to be Mach 20.
Was it Mach 20?
Let's see.
18 or 20. 18 to 20.
God, unbelievable.
13,000 divided by 767 would be Mach 17.
Mach 17.
That'd be quite the hurricane.
That would be quite the hurricane.
Holy God. A guy known as Lieutenant Dan, there's another guy, rode out the storm in his boat in Tampa. People were worried because he refused to evacuate, but reporters checked on him, and he's okay. A Weather Channel reporter was doing a segment from a yard when sprinklers came on in the background. Reddit laughed since the grass did not need watering.
Probably not.
No, I wouldn't think
not
so.
If you're getting, 10 inches of rain in an hour or something?
God, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Meteorologists have been getting death threats. Oh, it's their fault.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
But let's overhype everything.
Well, that is true.
I mean, come on.
Meteorologists have been getting death threats from conspiracy nuts convinced the government controls the weather. No.
Well, but the meteorologists aren't the government, so
well, they're not.
That doesn't really track, does it?
No.
I would have to agree with you.
That's the conspiracy theorists, though, for you.
They caused back-to-back storms, they're saying on purpose. President Biden called it beyond ridiculous and said this information has got to stop. Fake photos went viral at Disney World, flooded and destroyed. Someone made them with AI. They're not real. Disney's parks in Orlando were set to reopen today, as a matter of fact. And then finally, this might have been Milton's most Florida moment. 2 guys near Orlando went fishing in a flooded street yesterday and caught an impressive bass. Then while a reporter was talking to them, another guy randomly drove through the shot on his riding mower.
That's like that guy who was like standing and some guy, a canoe goes by, and then somebody, or the guy's rowing the canoe and some guy just walks next to him. Yep.
I remember that.
Didn't I tell you to put up the no Jews sign?
I'm sorry, I forgot.
You forgot to do it?
We got going and I was like so excited to do the show and I forgot to put the sign up.
What are you gonna do? There's no question.
You can tie me up to the post.
All right, you got here just in time because I'm going to ask this question. And we're talking, of course, Josh Arnold just got here. We got Andy, Officer Dave, Josh Arnold, and your boy Tom. We just went through a bunch of stats about the hurricanes that you didn't want to hear anyway because people have lost their minds. They were saying that, where was it, Orlando? 13,000-mile-an-hour winds.
No, London, didn't you say?
Yeah, the BBC.
Yeah.
Oh,
somebody added a few zeros.
It seems like it. Yeah, 130 miles an hour, 13,000 miles an hour. What's the difference?
I don't know. 130-mile-an-hour wind sounds like a train going by. And that's not just a slow freight train that usually goes by twice a day in my neighborhood.
Okay, we're going to have you vote on this because I have not opened it up. I don't know what it's going to say, so all 4 vote. What food is delicious in small amounts but gross in big amounts? That's a tough call. Delicious in small amounts, gross in big amounts.
Chocolate.
Yeah, I was going to say something like really rich, like cake.
Cheesecake.
Like eating a ton of cake. Cheesecake, I can only eat a tiny bit of before I'm okay, I am very done with this.
Okay, so you're going cheesecake, Andy.
I would have to say cheesecake that's probably the number one.
I'll go with chocolate.
Nuttall, you're going with chocolate?
Yeah, I like cheesecake. What kind of cheesecake do you like?
He's going right after
I like it too, but in a very small piece.
It's so rich.
Yep.
Okay, what are you going?
I got to go with the cheesecake too because it's
cheesecake,
like I can only eat a little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a savory, not a sweet guy.
Yeah, oh yeah, I could eat 100 steaks before I ate 2 slices of cheesecake.
Yep.
I'm going to go completely different route because this is very personal. Things like oysters, I can eat 1, but that's it. I could never eat a lot of oysters. No way.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm clicking on it. We'll find out if anybody knows what the hell they're talking about. They say the best way to indulge in a healthy way is to eat foods that make you want more, but don't actually eat more. Oh, so you're tortured constantly.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're still hungry, but you can't eat.
Let's all be miserable.
There you go. That said, some foods come back to bite you if you eat too much. There's a list of foods online that are delicious in small amounts, but gross in big amounts. Oh, there's not just one. There are a bunch of them. And some are very debatable. Okay, holy God, there are 20 of them.
20
things you should not eat in large amounts.
It's like every food.
That's kind of like every food. Okay, number 20 is cheese.
Yeah, that makes sense. Have you ever overdone a cheese tray? Like cheese and crackers?
No.
Oh.
I'm from Wisconsin.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
No.
I suppose so.
Rich cheese like blue cheese, Velveeta cheese, and cheese snacks.
Hold on. Velveeta.
I was going to say,
is
it's
not a
That's
cheese.
not cheese.
blue cheese and Velveeta in the same sentence. That's,
Yeah, good point.
that's Midwest blasphemy.
Yeah.
God, I almost misread this. Thank God I checked it. I thought it said Andy's beef and cheddar. It says Arby's beef and cheddar. So there you go. I've never had their beef and cheddar, so
It's decent.
It's fast food.
It's
It's better
warm.
than McDonald's for sure,
Yeah.
but yes, I would not want to. I can barely eat one of those.
Yep.
It's the cheese again. A lot of cheese.
Yep.
It's a lot
but
of
it's
fat.
not cheese.
No.
I doubt it's real cheese.
Velveeta is
It's not cheese. It's like the
cheese
you wanna
whiz or
we can
something.
we can debate even
Mhm.
Philadelphia cheesesteaks.
cheese
Yeah.
product. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, in the
Yep.
certain stores in Philadelphia that really have a cheesecake steak and have real cheese, but some people say no, we like cheese whiz.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ugh, no.
No.
No, you got to have real cheese like provolone with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm with you 100%.
Okay, number 18 is eggnog. I would have to agree. I can drink a little of that, not a lot.
I don't know that I've ever drank
Never
it.
had eggnog?
It's
No.
not that great.
No, it's not.
I don't know. It's fine. I used to love it as a kid, and then all of a sudden one day I was like, "This is just not good."
Tommy gets the first home run of the group.
Uh-oh.
Oysters, number 17.
Huh?
I could eat one, and that's about it.
About it.
Too
Are-
slimy for me.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna.
Well, are we talking about like the canned cooked ones, or
Oh,
it's like
God,
when
no.
people slurp them out of the shell? Because I would never do. That's disgusting.
I can't do either one, to tell you the truth. Ish.
I used to love oyster stew when my
Yeah,
grandmother
yeah.
made
Yeah,
it.
that's good.
Yeah.
But
Okay. So we're back to, what did you guys go? You guys agreed on what?
Cheesecake and
cheesecake and chocolate.
chocolate. Yes.
Cheesecake and chocolate. Okay. We don't have cheesecake yet. This is
We
not
will.
going to be good. Nice Jewish boy like you. Number 16 is lox.
You
Lox
can only
of-
eat a little lox.
Yeah.
You can only eat a little lox. You have to really develop a taste for lox. It's very salty.
It is very
Mhm.
salty. You're absolutely right.
Even with the real good Nova Scotia lox, which isn't as salty, a little more flavorful than the belly
Okay.
lox.
All right.
Yeah, that's
And
sockeye
you,
stuff.
and you
is
definitely
nasty.
have to have extra cream cheese, lettuce, tomato,
a little bit of
onion.
dill on there.
Number 15. I don't think I've ever had one, but maybe I have as a kid and I don't remember it. Number 15 is Vienna sausage.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, good.
I don't think I've ever had it.
I'm sure you have.
Maybe
You
I
have.
have.
Minesota, Germans everywhere.
Oh,
you
well,
have
that's
for
true.
sure had it.
Yep.
Okay, we go to number 14, and I can do very small amounts of this, but the way that people lop it on there an inch or two thick, I would vomit.
Mayonnaise.
You got it.
Oh yeah.
Mayonnaise is number
Mhm.
14.
Yep.
Not a fan at all.
Oh, see, I love mayo on a
Some
ham
people do.
on a ham and cheese. Just enough to just basically fill the pockets of the bread.
Number 13 is butter. I'm sorry. There's never enough butter.
There, I am with you there.
There's
Again,
never enough butter.
good Wisconsin boy
Yeah,
right here.
there we go.
So yeah, butter's number 12. Someone says a little on toast, heaven. But if you slather too much on anything, it goes from delicious to why did I do this real fat? No, it does not.
Well, I
You're
mean,
lying.
if you tried to like eat a stick of butter, you probably
well,
wouldn't-
no, I would not want to eat a stick of
No,
butter. You're
that would
right.
be kind of gross.
Even my
Yeah.
dogs wouldn't want the stick of butter. A
Oh.
little butter they love.
Really?
Yeah, my
Wow.
dogs love butter.
the more,
do
the
they
more
really?
butter you put on popcorn, the better the popcorn.
But I mean,
is.
for a dog to stop eating butter voluntarily is very strange. To me.
Yeah, I suppose.
I've never had a dog that would be like, I've had plenty.
Okay, this next one, there's a video out there that I have absolute proof that I would disagree with this 1,000%. These are things you can eat a little of, but not a lot of. Number 12 is pancakes.
Oh,
I could eat 20 pancakes and vomit and eat
eat more.
I love pancakes.
I
'cause
used
never
to be
got-
like that, but I don't know. They
Not
are
anymore?
very filling.
I used to. Had family in South Dakota, and there was a truck stop on I-90, and we stopped there for breakfast after one of the cousins got married.
Oh, sure.
And I had like this massive plate, and I swear it was like 3 of these computers lined up. That plate was that big, and 3 pancakes that were that thick.
Ooh.
You like a little pancake?
Oh, I'm with you. I'm shoulder to shoulder
I
with you on
love
the
pancakes. They're phenomenal.
Line them up.
Even the fake ones that are frozen, I'll eat those. Even.
Really?
No.
Oh God.
No. It
No.
takes you
No.
takes you a couple minutes to make a pancake fresh.
That's true.
Yep.
Very good. Number 11 is truffle. I don't like truffles anyway. So
I'm not a big mushroom person, so
I don't think I've ever had a truffle.
they're okay.
Well, I don't think anyone has ever eaten a truffle. That would be just disgusting. You use it as like a seasoning. You put it in like truffle popcorn,
okay.
truffle fries, that sort of thing.
Okay, I've broken another rule coming up here. Not this one, but another one coming up. I've broken by a long shot. Number 10 is honey. No, I can eat a lot of honey.
I can put a lot of honey on stuff.
Lots of honey.
honey's good for you.
Yep.
I agree. Number 9, I've eaten an entire bag of them. Marshmallows.
Marshmallows, those are like they digest in seconds.
They do.
Yeah.
How could you eat too many?
Yeah, I've eaten an entire bag of white marshmallows because they're kind of
Fluffy,
bouncy,
yep.
and
Mhm.
fluffy.
Yep.
Well, yeah, they're 99% air,
Exactly.
and the rest of it's sugar, which just dissolves the second it hits your stomach. So
Yeah.
it's like
Number 8 is cotton candy. I have never liked cotton candy.
it's okay.
That's in small dose.
It's like a
Yeah.
spider
quantities.
web.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's too sweet.
Yeah,
That's always
that's the
too
big one.
sweet.
Yep.
Sticky gets on.
It's
on
just
you.
sugar. Yep.
Yeah.
It is literally just spun sugar. Yep.
Yep.
It's true. Number 7's candy corn.
Mm.
3 or 4 corns per year, they recommend. So one every 3 months. You could eat one
Well,
candy
you
corn
eat a
every 3
handful at
months.
Halloween, and then you don't eat it again.
Yeah, exactly.
I never liked it.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
that's
it's-
like the worst candy
It
around.
is terrible.
I think it's fine. It's just
It is the worst.
it's a
candy
seasonal
around.
thing. So like Andy said, you have a handful of it, and then it's gone off the shelves for another 11 months.
Here's one here. I think I've had one, but I don't know for sure. They recommend you eat 1 per year of Cadbury cream eggs.
Ugh, I've never liked
I've
them.
never liked those.
They're not good.
They're just like
Cadbury cream
sickeningly
eggs?
sweet.
Yeah.
Well, that comes again. That's once a year.
once a year.
Yeah,
Yep.
It depends on how big the cream egg
Right.
is.
Yeah, that's true.
they're kind of like Peeps, or it's just too much. Even one of them is too much.
Yep.
Well, Peeps is like a marshmallow.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like a marshmallow.
It's
So-
awful.
So marshmallows are just sugar, but Peeps are somehow more sugary than marshmallows. I don't know how they did it, but they did it.
it. That's a tough call right there. All right, we get to the top 5. I haven't seen any of them yet. So
No.
number 5 is wasabi.
Well, yeah, of course.
Well, you could eat a handful of wasabi and burn
Just-
your throat.
Yeah,
Well, the
exactly.
thing about wasabi is the difference between good and makes it hard to breathe is like one molecule. So
Okay.
yeah, you get like an eraser-sized amount on some sushi, that's good, but you put like an imperceptible amount more on there, and you're not going to be breathing for 5 minutes.
I suppose. We go to number 4, sesame oil. Well, why would you glug sesame
Oh
oil?
yeah,
anyway?
sesame oil is very strong.
But I mean, you just put a couple of drops on there
Yep.
is all you
Yeah.
need. Why would you want more than that?
Stir a little bit onto your rice.
I don't get it. Number 3 is frosting. Get away from frosting. Leave me alone.
I'm not a fan of frosting.
Oh, birthday cake frosting. Are you kidding me?
I used to love it, but now it's
It's-
ganache or nothing.
Super sweet stuff.
That's
again.
the thing. Yeah,
Yep.
I really like sweet stuff. Like, I'll eat candy all day, but when things get just like the sweetness per, cubic centimeter or whatever, however you'd measure that,
I don't know.
it just
the SO has matched my wife's buttermilk sour cream chocolate cake with the chocolate icing,
well, if you put chocolate in the icing, then it's good.
and then you serve that with a nice cold glass of milk,
Ooh, that does sound good.
and you can eat a few pieces. And if I was really hungry, I'll say in my younger years, about a half of that cake would be
Mhm.
gone.
Mhm.
All right. Well, there you go. We only have 2 left. Haven't seen them yet.
No.
Now looking at number 2 is
Is it cream cheese
Cheesecake.
cheesecake?
it's cereal.
Cereal? No.
Someone said the first bowl of cereal makes you want a second bowl. The second bowl makes you realize you didn't want a second bowl. You just wanted the first bowl again. I don't understand. I'm not that big
cereal's
on cereal.
Easy to eat.
Yep, I'll take cereal all day long.
Yeah, cereal's fine. I was trying to think of my favorite. I used to love to eat Cheerios.
Yes, you did.
God, I love Cheerios.
Like
Green
mixing bowl
Cheerios, honey nut Cheerios,
whatever you got.
Whatever you got.
I love that stuff.
Team Cheerios was when that came out, where it was all of them together. Oh.
Yeah, they call that multigrain Cheerios.
Is that not multigrain?
I think it's basically the same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now, why anybody would eat something like a wheat flake? I don't get.
You didn't like Wheaties?
Yeah, sometimes you're just in the
loved
mood
them when
for.
I was on the box. My picture was on the box one year, so I did love that.
I used to just like buy Weetabix or whatever and eat it. You know,
Weetabix.
I don't know. Sometimes you just want that wheat flavor.
But see, here's how goofy I am. I would pour the Wheaties into the bowl, pour the milk, and then wait for it to get soggy.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Why?
Because it was just phenomenal. Very little effort to eat and chew.
It's true.
And just I liked it that way. It's kind of like cream of wheat, or kind of that kind
Oh,
of
I
stuff.
love cream of wheat.
Yeah.
Chocolate cream of wheat.
Oh.
Oh yeah, chocolate cream of wheat. Okay,
Yep.
I've not seen number one yet. So you guys insisting what is it going to be? Number one?
Well, so far I think we're out of
Yeah.
SOL.
We're out of this.
You're out of it completely.
Well,
one of us is, yeah. Two of us might be.
All right, we're moving on to number one. Haven't seen it yet. These are foods that you can't eat. You can eat a little, but not a lot of. You ready?
Yep.
Cheesecake.
There it is. Look at that.
Cheesecake is number one. So a couple of you guys were right.
Yep. Andy and I, shoulder to shoulder.
And then the guy who grew up in a Jewish neighborhood, an actual Jew, we didn't even get the vote. I love what's wrong with cheesecake? I love cheesecake.
I do too.
Just
In
too much.
very small quantities.
Mhm.
Well, now it's I want to savor that. It's got we got to make that cheesecake last.
True. It's true. Well, here's a quote. One dissenter says, "This is a nice Jewish boy, I guarantee it, because I just read what he said. I have never in my life regretted eating too much cheesecake." So there you go. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Moving on from there, we have Josh Arnold in studio today. We have four of us in studio. Andy's here. Officer Dave is here. Josh Arnold is here, and I am here. We each have to come up with $400 million to buy the Twins.
Just 400 million. The team is valued at 1.8
Well, times
million.
4.
Okay, so we each come up with 400 million. Now I've worked on that little problem.
That little problem.
I have 40 cents.
I got a few bucks on me. We'll see.
I've gone to the bank, and the bankers have said, "You want to buy the Twins?"
The Twins.
The Twins? I said, "Yes. Would like to put together a group to buy the Twins." The banker said, "We're not lending money on that losing franchise that doesn't spend enough money to buy pitching. Their hitting is pathetic in clutch situations." And the banker just ushered me out the door.
Well, everything's cheaper at police auction. Why not just confiscate the Twins and then auction them off? Then we can afford them.
But I just thought that's unbelievable. And Carl Pohlad paid when he bought the team,
$40,
83, 84,
something like that.
$44 million.
And now it's worth 1.7, 1.8.
Pretty good ROI.
And here's the kicker. The Griffith family was offered twice that.
Yeah.
By Harv and Marv.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
He was offered twice that, turned it down.
Wow.
Now I don't know all the ins and outs. Maybe the Pohlads offered 44 million cash right now.
Oh yeah.
And Harv and Marv said, yeah, you can have we'll give you a little down. We'll give put together a package paid out over a period of time. But to me, 88's a lot more then 44.
Yes.
But it is my understanding that Mr. Griffin did not want to sell to Harv & Marv, and they ended up spending the money to bring in a basketball team.
Does the word Semite show up in this argument at all?
Well, it's a long time ago. I didn't know Calvin Griffith nor his, but it is very interesting. It probably at that time there were probably very few Jewish owners of baseball teams, with the exception really of Bud Selig, who owned the Brewers at the time.
Oh, here's something interesting about the Pohlad purchase.
Mm-hmm.
So Pohlad beat out a larger offer by a New York businessman named Donald Trump.
You're right. I remember that.
And the reason he got it rather than Trump was because he promised to keep the team in Minnesota.
Oh,
Trump wanted to move them. So that's why Pohlad got it.
Oh.
Ah.
Now, also, my friend Rick and Rick calls me one day and goes, "Hey, let's go out on the boat." So we got on a boat, Rick's boat. The Twins had just come up for sale. And if at that time he and I would have each put in a 5 spot, we could have bought the Twins.
Really?
You think about that. $5 million a piece, because the carryover and the other 65, those sports make so much money that banks don't give a rat's ass about how much you put down, because they're going to get their money back and a lot more anyway.
Well, at this point, you could get a bonus by promising to take them away from Minnesota.
That's probably true. After the year we just went through, you might be right about
here's another interesting fact. Here's this team that Pohlad paid $44 million. It's worth what did I say? Over $1.5 billion.
Yeah, correct.
As a franchise, and they wanted to contract it, do away with it.
They did, yes.
At the turn of the century.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you imagine? Well, not working out. We'll get rid of the team. Contract it because it's not worth anything.
Right.
And 24 years later,
Here we are.
That's a lot of do re mi, so to speak.
It is.
Now, another interesting little fact: the Marlins just got approval to sell a good chunk of the team to private equity.
Private equity.
Yeah, so private equity firms are now bidding on sports franchises, which could lead, the way that the private equity will get a lot of their money out is either to sell it to another group or bring that entity public. So can you imagine in the not too distant future, you have more than one baseball team. There's one baseball team now that's publicly owned. That's the Atlanta Braves.
Oh,
So does that mean you can buy like Atlanta Braves stock?
You can buy Atlanta Braves stock. It's through Liberty Media. Market well, there are several different classes of shares, but it's BATRA, BATRA. The shares, there's not a lot of demand for the shares. They're trading around $42, $2 a share. They generate most of the money comes from advertising revenue. Again, it's thinly traded, or we'll say trades by appointment. Hasn't moved around a lot. If the Braves the Braves have a good season, the stock will go up a little bit. The Braves this year did not have a good season, so they missed the playoffs and are cutting payroll, so to speak, and management, on-field management. So the stock is dipped down, and it is believed that at some point in the not too distant future, John Malone of Liberty Media will want to sell the Braves, and the Braves would be worth a lot more than the $42 a share.
Mhm.
You do not get anything special just from owning the Braves other than, oh, I own a baseball team. I've got, a share or 10 shares, 100 shares in the 1,000 shares in the Atlanta Braves. And it's
Kind of like the Packers.
It's kind of like the Packers, but there's a lot more liquidity with this than there is in getting shares in the Packers. Now I know you have shares in the Packers.
I do not.
You don't?
No,
Oh,
I just
would
have
thought-
season tickets. That's it.
Well, even those are tough to get by. I
Even
think
though-
the season tickets are tougher to get.
40 years is the waiting list. I
Yeah.
think now I heard last. Yeah.
Yeah,
40 years.
tougher to
40
get
years.
season tickets to the Packers than it is to probably find somebody be willing to sell you a share of Packers stock.
Yep.
Now, there are-
$200, I think it was, is what it was offered at, but it was just literally a piece of paper that said, "You are a shareholder."
Now, at one time there were a few more teams that were publicly traded. At one time, I owned and my clients owned shares in the Boston Celtics.
You
They were-
did?
wow.
Yeah, they were
Ah.
traded as a limited
Damn it.
partnership. Well, I used to like professional basketball.
I did too.
Mhm.
The
And-
Celtics particularly.
Why not own the Celtics? I mean, they kept crushing my Philadelphia 76ers. And if you were a Lakers fan, didn't do the Lakers constantly losing to the Celtics.
Mhm.
Um,
If you ever met Kevin McHale, you wouldn't want to own part of a team.
no, I did have met Kevin McHale on numerous
have I.
papers. He was very nice to me. But
Well, so there was a nice balance. He was very nice to you.
that's because, I'm not an Irishman.
That's what you're not Irish. I thought for sure. Josh the Irishman, and I'm okay. No, I mean, at first Kevin and I got along really well, but every time that I criticized the Timberwolves after that, he disliked me more and more and more as time went by.
One of those really thin-skinned
Well,
guys.
he was never any good at managing teams anyway, or coaching, or any of that stuff, was he? He was a
they
hell of a
didn't.
player. He
Yeah.
was a great player back
Yep.
in the day.
Sometimes a very good player who has an unbelievable work ethic really wants to get better and has played on on the top team and played around some extraordinary people. And now you're placed in a situation where I can't motivate these guys to even attempt to do what I did to get better. And and all these guys think they're better than Larry Bird,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no problem.
or Bill Russell or whomever. They all want to showboat. And hey, this is a team game. There's 5 guys on the floor.
That's why I stopped watching basketball, is when it became all showboating.
Yeah,
I just and now football is going that way too. And it's like,
it is.
just
You're
shut
right.
up and play the game.
So
It's your job.
so that I think is very frustrating. And I know that and it's true, I'll say, in other endeavors. I mean, at one point, I had 2 partners and a lot of, I think there were 20 employees a long time ago.
Mhm.
And we'll say the advisors that were in our firm, I could never understand. You guys, we're not giving you any money, and you're just coming into the office and just sitting on your butt and then complaining all the time. I have no business.
Right.
I'm not making enough money. Well, pick up the phone, start calling some people. You don't like picking up the phone? I built up my business doing seminars, go out on the street, go store to store to meet somebody.
Mhm.
There are many ways that you can build a business in, we'll say, the the securities business or the insurance business or the real estate business, but car business, but you've got to meet people,
Right.
Mhm.
and you're going to get a lot of rejection. I think Kevin McHale couldn't get that across to the players he had.
Yeah, it
And
seems
after
like
a
it.
while, you just throw up your hands and,
Say, well,
you know, they're paying me. I can go through the motions until I find something else.
Yeah, there you go. That works for me. So basically, I shouldn't hate him back. Is that what you're saying? No, I don't.
No, I don't. You don't hate anybody.
I don't hate anybody. I wouldn't waste my time hating anyone.
I mean,
I know it's in vogue now in the political system in America to hate everybody, but it's like, why are you wasting your time hating anybody, particularly people you don't even know?
mhm.
Like, what is wrong with you?
Yep.
So
it
no,
works.
if you may not like their policies. That's one
exactly.
thing.
Well, you see the headline in the Star Tribune this morning?
No, I try to avoid that paper. And the
Well-
few times that I buy it, I wonder, why am I buying this? There's nothing here that I haven't already read someplace else.
I'm going to read you a headline from today's Star Tribune that it just says so much about how Minnesota operates. You know what I mean? Okay, let me bring this up here because I'm not even going to read the story. Just the headline's enough. It's in the Star Tribune this morning. I'm scrolling down to it right now. Minneapolis to look at new taxes. Why are they looking at new taxes in Minneapolis? Because downtown values have plummeted. Why did downtown values plummet? Because you let people run rampant
Yep.
over that city. Homeless people everywhere taking a dump in the streets and vomiting and pissing and moaning. The violence in downtown Minneapolis is the highest it's ever been. So your answer to these problems is to make us pay more money.
Mhm.
Really?
Well, as the SO has said, the city council spends more time passing resolutions to call on the Israelis to cease fire
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
than it does to solve problems within the city.
I don't understand why it's that. It is the way it is.
Defund the police.
That's
We need
yep.
to defund the police
Good luck to
and
you.
raise taxes because that's the way to solve problems.
I knew we were going to get there eventually, Josh. I knew we were going to get there eventually.
Well, I mean, look at these people. They all live in whispering acres,
Yep.
and it's, behind a gate and all
Yep.
this. They don't have the same problems
Nope.
that the average person has. They don't give a rat's ass about the average
Nope.
person.
They don't.
It's just sad. The whole thing is very, very sad to me.
Well, I guess you're just not a community organizer, so you
You
can't
are
run for
correct.
office. You've got to be a community organizer first before you can run for office.
I did put word out yesterday on social media that I would like to debate Tim Walz, but I haven't heard a word.
There's a shock.
I would love to debate that boy. It'd be so great
You would bury him.
in a heartbeat.
Oh my gosh.
Plus the fact that every time he lied, I'd go,
liar, pants on fire.
What do you mean he lies?
Well,
Did he lie?
Yeah, it's really hard.
When did he lie? I haven't heard any lies.
Was
this
his mouth
hour?
moving?
Oh, I have not heard the governor and current candidate for vice president
Lay the
lie.
sarcasm on a little thicker there, buddy boy. You can fool some of the people some of the time. You can't fool me, Josh. Come on, man.
I just,
It's
I
like,
can't believe it.
yeah, no new taxes. Read my lips.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
read my-
I am a capitalist, but people aren't paying their fair share. I'm a capitalist, so we have to raise taxes
I hate
on
it.
capital. What?
I know. I just don't understand why we can't. We have nobody that gives a rat's ass about us.
No.
It's all about their fame, their money, all the rest of them. I mean, are any of these people worth a damn? Any of them?
No.
Doesn't seem to be the case. And now, once again, you screwed up the downtown area. When I was a kid, I used to walk downtown from Plymouth Avenue as like a 7, 8, 9-year-old.
Yep.
Nobody ever bothered me.
No.
Is
Ever.
there is there anything that's on Plymouth Avenue right now Did you?
You mean like on as in on fire? It was when I was a kid, I'll tell you that. Not a lot. Well, there's that one liquor store that used to be where the Erickson gas
Merwin?
station was. And Merwin Liquor is there
Yeah.
on the corner where the drugstore used to be. My mother worked there when I was a little boy, so that was cool.
I know the guy that owned that.
Well, you know one of the Merwins?
No,
Oh, the one guy who owned the
no,
Oh, now. Okay. Who does own that? I don't even know who owns it.
Gary Dotches.
Oh, I know Dotches.
Yeah,
How do you know Dotches?
he lived in the city I worked.
Yeah,
I know Gary very well.
Yeah, Gary Dotches. I haven't seen him in years.
He's a wonderful man.
He's a nice Jewish boy, isn't
Yeah,
he? See?
very
All I do is
good.
praise you people.
Very good man.
We
Yeah.
got an exclusive from the audience. If you look at your laptop, this
Okay.
is Trevor's share.
Oh, he's
Shout out, boy,
of-
Trevor.
Hey, Green Bay Packers, baby.
There it is.
I love it. I
Yep.
love when the audience responds to our stuff. I do. I just love it when the audience responds.
Atta boy,
Makes me
Trevor.
very, very happy. Trevor's a share owner in the Green Bay
Green Bay
Packers.
Packers. Yep.
Well,
There's no
oh,
question
my
about it.
my dad put us on the list when we were born,
Oh, never made it?
and no,
You
we
did
we
make
got it. We got tickets in the 90s.
Oh, you did?
Yep. So my brother, and they break it up. Green Bay used to play 4 games in Milwaukee County
Yeah, I remember
Stadium.
that. I remember that, yeah.
So now they play those season tickets from Milwaukee. That's called the gold package, which is the one that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother's got the green package. So I get 2 to 3 games a year. And my brother gets the rest of the home games. So
So it's like me and the Duluth Eskimos.
pretty much.
That's what
But I
you're
could,
saying.
my brother and I could trade tickets, and I go sit in his seats and he goes sits in my seats. That's how
You know,
we-
that is a real team. That was a real
Yes,
team.
I know. That was one of the
The Duluth Eskimos
Yep.
played in the NFL, if you can believe that.
very early on.
What was there, like 55 people living in the city of
Hold
Duluth?
on, that's from that movie
I wonder.
with George Clooney.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they
Leatherheads.
the Leatherheads. They
Yep.
they represented.
Oh.
They were the Duluth team.
Yep.
Oh, they were? I didn't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that. I never saw that.
Yeah,
So
it was
it
about
good?
the Duluth, well, loosely based on the Duluth team.
There's actually 20,000 more people back then than there are now in Duluth.
Oh, because of shipping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
That
city's,
makes sense.
yeah,
Yep.
That makes sense.
pretty much every year it's been going down a little bit
I
over the
love
past couple
Duluth.
years.
That's
I just
another
love
city
that
that's
there.
gone downhill.
Mm.
It's too bad because I
I've-
loved going.
I've
to
got a
Duluth.
buddy who's a cop up there. And he says it's sad.
Yeah, but you can still go to Valentini's right there downtown. All these great restaurants. What is it?
Canal Park is still fun.
Canal Park's great. Was it?
Yep.
It's not the Biltmore Cafe. It's the something starts with a B though. The Broadmoor something.
I don't remember that one.
I got to be honest with you. Every town I've ever been in the 5-state area, I've really liked. I go to these towns. You find that great things about it, like Red Wing. I talk to Doug Sprinthal about it all the time because he lives there. Red Wing is a great town.
Beautiful little city.
It really is. I
Yep.
mean, I don't know if people realize that. You go north, south, east, west, wherever. There are great things you can run. Western Wisconsin's gorgeous.
Yep.
I was going to say, if you can go east from Red Wing, you're just going to hit water.
You are.
Well, you cross the bridge and then you're in God's country. That's the way it goes.
God's country in Wisconsin.
He loves that.
I know, we
You're
gotta
in
hear about it.
Wisconsin, and he's got smile ear to ear. God.
Non-stop. How wonderful it is. There's no question about it.
Oh God.
How do you sleep at night? That's what I want to know. But
Like a baby.
like a baby. So what's new in the economic world? Anything looking better?
Of course, there's things that are looking better. The stock market is looking much better. We're
Well, that's good.
just under an all-time high in the Standard & Poor 500, just under 5,800.
I'm glad to hear that.
Now the S&P is up on the backs of just a few companies right now. Favorite Apple, Amazon, Meta, also known as Facebook,
Right.
Instagram, has been on fire. That's a stock that I never really liked, and the stock had run down from about $300 down to $100, and from $100 Mark Zuckerberg said, we got to make some changes here. The metaverse is maybe not coming. We have to go back and do what made us successful. Stock has gone from $100 to $500 in a brief period of time, but Meta's on the has done very well. Microsoft is not doing so well this year. And then there's NVIDIA, which is a semiconductor company that's making high-speed chips, has been on a big tear this year. And then we've had several utility companies that provide extra power for all these data centers. So they've done well. So just buying the index, just has helped a lot of people this year. So participating in the stock market, which is something our governor, now running for vice president, does not do.
Right.
The president of the United States currently does not invest in the stock market or in businesses. Now, people can debate me and say, no, yes, they do, because their pensions are invested that way.
Oh, yeah.
I said, well, that's a long way away, but they are not investing in businesses. So that to me that's a negative mark to them, because their belief is that government solves all problems, and government is behind the economy. No, the economy is going to grow. The middle class is going to grow because we've got businesses that are providing jobs and are going to continue to expand. The interest rates have been coming down. At least short-term interest rates are coming down because inflation has come under a little more control. And each time that there's some economic numbers around that seem to confirm that. Recently, we've had the consumer price index, which is currently at 2.4% year over year from last September to this September. So that's come down significantly. The producer price index year to year is at 2.2%. So that's also been coming down. So that's a plus. The economy is still growing at a reasonable level. Now, the negatives, of course, is we got a lot of debt. The government has been spending a tremendous amount of money. We can call it overspending, and they've come up with more. We'll just call it buy vote policy.
Yeah.
Buy the vote policy. And right now it's both candidates running for president are trying to buy votes.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to tax your tips. Okay. So if you're not going to tax my tips, yes, I have more money in my pocket from that, but geez, that means that I'm going to get less of something sometime in the future. That means that there's less money going into the Social Security pot, which means my Social Security income, when I'm eligible for that, is going to be a lot lower than it would be if I'm paying FICA taxes on my entire income. But we're not thinking about that one. I've seen a few other, we'll call it giveaway programs designed to buy votes. Well, people will debate me on this one. We're going to forgive your student debt.
Right.
Even though the judicial system has continued to say, No,
Nope.
no.
Not
You want to
happening.
do that? That's got to get passed and go through
Mhm.
Congress. No, we'll find another way around so we can forgive student debt. Yes, their student debt is astronomical. The rate that is charged on student loans is out of sight. So how about this? When you're getting a student loan, why are people paying, or why are you paying students and or families who are taking these loans interest rates that are way above, we'll say, more than twice what you're paying for a mortgage or a car loan?
So it's like 15, 16%.
I mean, it's almost
Mhm.
as onerous as Visa card loans.
Yeah,
What the banks
right.
charge on
Right.
the outstanding balance of your credit card, and the rate that the banks are charging on the outstanding balance on your credit card used to be. Now I've got to think of the right word for this.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'll put it this way: the crime syndicates charge less vigorous than the the banks, than the
big
credit
baby.
cards companies are charging on the
The
credit
loan
cards.
sharks.
So that used to be, prohibitive. And speaking of banks are now starting to come out with their earnings today. J.P. Morgan came out with their earnings. They beat on the top line and bottom line. Their stock was up. On the other hand, Wells Fargo had a mixed report, and they said, not doing it with our net interest income. So that's the way the banks are making a lot of money. So.
Mhm.
Are making their money is on what they're, we'll say, borrowing the money from the Fed for and then passing it out for, and they're not doing so well on that. Net interest income is down. I am not a bank investor. I don't recommend people investing in banks. But that's the start of earnings season, not doing so well. Delta Airlines did come out with their earnings yesterday. They did much better than expected, and they indicated that travel is going to be down a little bit between now and election day. People are wondering what's going to happen before they make a decision to travel. Capacity is going to increase between now and the end of the year. So my guess, and I've talked about this, I'll say on Garage Logic, that you should be able to get a deal on travel.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're spending a lot of money.
if the airlines are not, at least over the course of the next month, you might be able to get some deals on traveling to take a vacation. Now, I would not necessarily be running down to my son's town of Tampa this week.
Yeah, not right now.
Where I was supposed to go for
That's
the holidays, but we got canceled out due to weather. And the Tampa airport was closed again due to weather. And I think it's going to be, some places in Tampa have power, some places do not have power. My son is very fortunate that his house was untouched on this storm. The last hurricane, he suffered some, we'll say, minor damage in terms of landscaping, because the water came up over the seawall. Did not get into the house because of house being recently built, and it was up. I think the garage is up 8 feet above the water. First floor is up 12 feet. But even with the potential of surge, he moved all his furniture to the
Upstairs.
second floor,
Yeah.
and he's got 11-foot ceiling, so that's up 22 feet. But the house next door to him, I think I brought this up before. The house next door to him during Hurricane Helene burned down
Oh, Jesus.
due to Tesla.
Oh,
Guy had his
absolutely.
Tesla
Yeah,
plugged in,
Absolutely.
and that Tesla
Yep.
blew up, started a major fire.
Yep.
Because they hadn't moved. He just completed the house. He was still living in an apartment. He got a call from one of the neighbors saying, "You better come over here. It looks like your house is on fire." So can you imagine getting that call at 1
Who
a.m?
made that call?
Mm-hmm. And gets in his truck, drives as far as he can, and then has to walk through 2 feet of water around we'll say around where he could get to his house, and you're just freaked out. Oh my gosh, all the money that I've spent, I'm gonna lose it all, even though he had builder's insurance on the house,
Mm-hmm.
only to find, oh, it's not my house, it's the next door neighbor. And the wife of his neighbor wanted to go back into a burning house so she could get her jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, no, you can't go back into a burning house to get the jewelry.
Not a good plan.
And the fire department couldn't come because
Water everywhere.
water everywhere.
Burned down to the water line, I'll bet.
Yeah, and they came out, they were able to get there at 7 a.m. the next morning. And there was not a lot of that house left. And the Tesla, what was left of the Tesla, is just
Melted all over the place.
melted.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not the only Tesla fire in Tampa. I'll say during that hurricane, or even in this hurricane. But no, we're not going down to Tampa. That's not a place to go.
Not
Miami,
right
on the other hand, just had rain, so you can go down to Miami. Walt Disney is going to have some issues for this current earnings season because Orlando got hit, with rain and wind. So maybe you can get some discounts, for Thanksgiving and Christmas travel to Orlando, but you may not be able to go on all the rides.
Yeah.
By then, it's a horrible this situation there, and probably even worse still worse in North Carolina.
All right, so we'll close with that brilliant,
Wonderful
wonderful.
news.
Well, here
news.
we'll give you some other things. Earnings are coming up.
There you go.
For companies. I do believe that a lot of corporate earnings are going to come in better than expected. And do be prepared, however, that coming into an election, the stock market is typically a little bit more volatile.
Right.
So make sure that you do take a little bit of your profits off the table, put it into cash or into a money market fund, and wait to reinvest some of that money after the election. But do not go 100% in cash unless you think the world is going to completely explode, which I do not believe that is the case.
That'll do it for this week. We'll talk to you on Monday. Have a great weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Got a picture in my noggin reminds me of this one was before. Every time I hear the singing reminds me how you talking